I don't know what's going on anymore. Went in there, came up to this job fair here in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, you know, the listing showed that there were several different venues that were going to be here, vendors, companies, things of that nature. And walked in there. There's only one IT booth, and they had a cloud architect role. They had a senior sysadmin role, which is my area. So, and they had an IT architect role. So I walk up to the guy. His name is Kevin. I introduce myself. You know, talking about the role, trying to figure out a little more information about the role, and started telling him a little bit about myself. And then he was like, "You need to scan this code, scan this barcode, and fill out the application online." And I'm like, "What's the point of physically coming up here, driving over here, for you to tell me to go online and fill out the application?" Thought that was pretty strange.
Shalom. First of all, I'd like to give all the honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahushai, Ba'ashim, Rakakdash. Double honor to teachers, sellers, and the boss of great millstone, likewise, brothers, putting out this fruit. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep into your brothers and sisters. Tuning in, Shalom, today's lesson's title, For Where Your Treasure Is, There Will Your Heart Be Also. Now, the opening clip is with this Jake that's getting a reality check of the current situation here in Great Babylon, America. Because one of the reasons why you have our people come up against this truth, the ministry, the prophets, is because there's still an option here in Great Babylon, America. They've been living an illusion that they still want to stay in. Let's go into the book of Matthew 6 and start verse 19 before I bring out the remaining part of this clip. It reads, "Lay not up for yourself treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do not corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Now, you can see, from the beginning part of the clip there, that this Jake, he's disappointed. He got some bad news. Okay, and you can see from the clip, or the poster or the AI picture that I created, depicting the mockery of these Edomites, pick yourself up by the bootstraps boy, okay, is what he's experiencing. Okay, now what will he do now? Okay, and he's in that disappointed state because his heart is here in Great Babylon, America. He wants to, make it here. Okay, but what he doesn't understand is that, Jake being here in basically under judgments, okay, being suppressed and oppressed by Esau, the Edomite, the so-called white man, okay, that he is part of a big game that Esau has been playing with us, okay, since the beginning. Okay, you go into Ecclesiasticus 13 and 6, it reads, "If he had need of thee, he will deceive thee and smile upon thee, and put thee in hope. He will speak thee fair and say, What wantest thou?" Now, the biggest clown show, okay, that Jake has experienced here is something known as the Civil Rights Act of 1964, okay? And you had, of course, Martin Luther King Jr., okay, who was leading all of this. You had all the marches, you had all the protests, okay? And what this did was really, this didn't achieve anything, tangible or for Jakes. In reality, what this did was this broke down barriers, okay? And, people say, well, okay, it broke down the barriers of segregation, okay? What it really did was broke down the protection, okay? Which is, we know that we shouldn't follow their ways. We know we shouldn't congregate with these people. But Jake, desiring, okay, the crumbs of the rich man's table, was willing to break those barriers down. And what ended up happening? Okay, the biggest mind game that has been played upon the children of Israel, okay, specifically, okay, the southern kingdom tribes, okay, Levi, Benjamin, and Judah, in particular Judah here in Great Babylon, America, has been that mindset of equality. Okay, you have them talk about equal opportunity employment, affirmative action, and all of this is to keep you in that unguided state mentally to trust your enemy. Okay, and now that the enemy have used Jake's, Martin Luther King, you know, Coretta Scott King, all these other, so-called civil rights leaders, and everybody that's pushing, equality, 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 to the caveman. Now we're coming to that end part where, this man is saying, we don't need you anymore. Screw you. Okay. Let's go into Psalms 146 and 3. It reads, put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. There is no help, Jake. How many times we got to say it? And I'm quite sure a well-polished young man like this, he looks pretty educated. Obviously, he was going for IT job, and not like a help desk job. He was going for like an infrastructure job. So he's pretty smart. I'm quite sure he's invested a lot of money in college, and he's got good skills. Okay, but take a look at the conclusion of this video, and you're gonna see how he got played.
Now, keep in mind, this job is at a job where I know some people that work there, so I was recommended, by them. So anyway, I take his advice, scan the code, go online to fill out their application. I get in there and log in, and it says, I'm gonna throw it up on the screen here. You've already applied for this role. So I pull that information, I walk back over to the booth, I'm like, I already applied for this role, right? And then it was like, oh, okay, well, walk back out of the doors and go to the right and walk through those doors, and the HR department is going to be in there, and you can check on your application status to see where you stand. So I said, okay, no problem. So I go over there, walk over there, and get up to the HR lady, tell her my name, give her my email address, and she pulls up my information, and she looks at me and says, okay, I see you in the system, Chad. You were referred by John Doe and John Wayne. I don't want to give their names out. So, but unfortunately, the role has been filled already, but you are qualified and you were referred by a couple of current employees. But at this time, that role is filled. I was like, but they showing it available over there at the booth. She's like, yeah, the system just they haven't been updated. I was like, wow. So basically, this was a blank trip. I try to see the positivity out of every situation, but to be honest with you guys, things are starting to look bleak. Like I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith. Not all the way, I'm a real positive, keep my energy up type of person, but it's like, dang. I found out that the law firm job, I didn't get that job. They decided to go with a different candidate. So, still got the university job, that's in play. I got a government job, that's in play, but that takes time because they have to process. It's a long process, man. They got security clearances and things of that nature. I don't have any security clearances, so you got to go through that process of getting cleared. That's in play, and it's just wild out here, man. But what can you do? Just keep, you keep pushing forward, keep trying to make it happen. So, just wanted to share that with you guys, and yeah, I'm gonna head back to the car and. We'll talk about it some more. All right.
This is what happens, okay? And it felt close to home because I've been in that situation many times, okay? Many times, just like what this young man is. And I'm quite sure Jake's are going through it right now, okay? Because, yeah, we're telling them, put your faith and trust in Yahweh Shema Shai, okay? A deity they've never seen before, at least none of us can remember ever seeing him, okay? We're telling them that the so-called white man who provides you jobs and opportunities, okay, is our enemy, okay? We're telling you that there's going to be these magnificent chariots, okay, known as UFOs, that's going to come and rescue us just before this place is nuked up, okay, by all these other nations on this earth. And that is a hard thing for the Lord of Jakes to take, because it's a tangible proof for this. You only read out of a Bible, right? So they have their heart set on making it here in Great Babylon, America. In fact, let's go to Isaiah 30. And Cyrus 12 says, "Wherefore thus said the Holy One of Israel, because ye despise his word, and trust in oppression and perverseness, and stay thereon, therefore this iniquity should be to you as a breach ready to fall, swelling out in a high wall, whose breaker cometh suddenly and at an instant." Okay, so clearly, although he's smart, he doesn't realize, okay, that this is the end of Great Babylon, America. We're in the end times right now. We're about to experience Jacob's trouble. Brothers have put up videos. I put up videos showcasing or letting Jakes them know, like, look, these internment camps that they're building and these warehouses they're buying to turn into detention centers. Okay, the current detainees right now are experiencing hell, and this is while Great Babylon, America is still intact. Imagine when things get crazy, and you either gonna have a comply or die situation. Meaning what? You lay down flat, and they take you into one of these internment camps, okay, enslave you or put you to death there, or they put you to death on the streets, okay. And the scriptures goes into that in great details of, people dying all over the place to the point to where they're not even being buried, okay. And that's a whole another lesson to go on like that, because that's a very diabolical scene to be to really look at, okay. But it's going to take place, okay. Let's go to 1 John 2. And Verse 15 reads, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, and the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but it is of the world." We all been through it. I've been through it. I went to college. I want to have acronyms behind my names and all that other stuff right there, because I just wanted to just say, look at me. I did it. I accomplished all of this stuff. Okay. And so while I was in darkness, okay, and other brothers can attest to this, and you sisters who are listening, you can attest to it too. You try to engage in everything in the world, because who is the model for you to go and pursue to be like? It's a so-called white man. You want what they have, okay? Their approval means something, okay? But here we're telling you right now, that time is over and done with, okay? This man right now is on his last hoorah. Curtain is closing, and he don't give a rat's ass about anybody, including his own people, especially you, Jake. Come on, Jake, look around. There were a bunch of Edomites inside there, okay, looking and hustling. They're trying to, hopefully get lucky too. And these job fairs is a bunch of BS, where they collect your information, and the person that's sitting behind it know damn well that there's no position, okay. Continue, says, "And the world passeth away, and the lust thereof, but he that doeth the will of power abideth forever." So, this is more satisfying, okay. The Lord is going to provide for you, okay. What do you need, Jake? Okay. And you can see, and this is going to be a common thing here, when Jake's them are falling, when they realize they can't get off their feet, and the Lord is going to put you in those situations. Because why? Your heart is set on making it here in Great Babylon, America. Okay, you're not set on serving Him, where He then will provide for you. Okay, all you have to do is just be the good servant that He asks for. Okay, let's close with the book of 1 Peter 1, and verse 13 reads, "Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of a Mashiach, as obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance." So of course, starting with myself, I'll tell you, when I was ignorant before I found out who I was, what my purpose in life really was. Okay, shit, I used to spend days and hours studying for certifications. I did all the degree programs, all that stuff like that. When Esau tell me, "Hey, we'll pass on to another candidate," you're disappointed and all that stuff. And right now, okay, as an obedient child of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, and what's taking place right now, it's always, joyous to go see that these Edomites are catching out too. But for you, Jacob, there, you need to let go. Okay, you need to let go. You need to let go of the treasures on earth. Get your heart out of it, okay? Because no matter what this so-called white man say to you, at the end of the day, if you're not part of the elect, You're gonna die here. Lord willing, like I said, the Father goes about giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Shema, Shai, Bashim, Rakakadash, Shalom.